Good day everyone, my name is Junel Bucabaligas.
Good day, everyone. I'm Alfred Macadini.
Good day everyone, I am Jessabel Likayan.
Today's video we're going to discuss about educational policies.
Today, I'm going to report on examples of gender-responsive policies, which is the educational policies in the Philippines.
And our topic is all about educational policy in relation to gender. Our country has implemented various educational policies to promote a safe and inclusive learning environment for all students, particularly focusing on protecting children and promoting gender equality. So my first educational policy is the Department of Education's or DepEd Gender Responsive Basic Education Policy. This policy, outlined in DepEd Order Number 32, Series of 2017, is a comprehensive framework that seeks to integrate the principle of gender equality, gender equity, gender sensitivity, non-discrimination, and human rights into all aspects of basic education. For example, the policy mandates that schools should ensure gender parity in staffing, meaning that there should be an equal number of male and female teachers and administrators. This aims to create a more balanced and representative learning environment for students. Next is addressing gender-based violence and bullying. The DepEd's policies recognizes the prevalence of gender-based violence and bullying in schools and emphasizes the need for proactive measures to address these issues. For example, the policy requires schools to establish child protection committees to handle cases of abuse, neglect, exploitation, and violence against children. These committees are responsible for investigating reports, providing support to victims, and taking appropriate disciplinary action. Next is the Anti-Bullying Law or the Republic Act No. 10627. This law, enacted in 2013, prohibits bullying in all educational institutions, including on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. It mandates schools to establish anti-bullying committees and implement programs to prevent and address bullying. For example, the law requires schools to develop and implement anti-bullying policies to define bullying, outline procedures for reporting and handling incidents, and provide support services for victims. So these policies should address all forms of bullying, including cyberbullying and bullying based on sexual orientation and gender identity. And lastly, promoting gender-inclusive curricula. The policy emphasizes the importance of gender-inclusive curricula that challenge stereotypes and promote critical thinking about gender roles and relationships. So, for example, the K-12 Basic Education Curriculum, which implemented in 2013, includes modules on gender and development, human rights, and sexuality education. These modules aims to raise awareness about gender equality, promote respect for diversity, and equip students with the knowledge and skills to challenge gender stereotypes. So, for an instance, a module on gender and development might discuss the history of humans or the women's rights in the Philippines, the impact of gender roles in career choices, or the importance of gender equality in leadership positions.
These policies aim to create a more inclusive and equitable educational environment for all students, regardless of their gender. DepEd Order Number 40, Series 2012, Child Protection Policy. This policy aims to prevent and address all forms of abuse, discrimination, and violence against children in schools. It specifically includes bullying based on sexual orientation and gender identity. So the purpose of this policy is to prevent and address all forms of abuse, discrimination, and violence against children in schools, ensuring that every child can learn in a safe environment. Also, the policy seeks to empower students by safeguarding their rights, dignity, and well-being. It creates a framework for reporting and addressing incidences of abuse and helps inculcate a culture of respect among students regardless of their gender or sexual orientation. Republic Act Number 9710, Magna Carta of Women. This law promotes the rights and empowerment of women in all aspects of life, including education. It mandates the integration of gender equality principles into all educational policies and programs. And the purpose of this policy is to empower women by promoting their rights in all areas, including education. Also, it aims to eradicate gender-based violence and discrimination, ensuring equal access to educational resources for women, fostering an environment where women can thrive academically and socially. Public Act Number 10533, Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. This law mandates the implementation of the K-12 Basic Education Program, which includes provisions for a gender and culture-sensitive curriculum. It aims to ensure that the curriculum addresses gender-related issues and promotes gender equality. So the purpose of this policy include ensuring that the curriculum not only addresses gender-related issues but also actively promotes gender equality. Furthermore, it strives to foster respect for diversity and encourage critical thinking through a curriculum that is relevant and responsive to the needs of all students. And above all, these three policies contribute to safer and more supportive learning environments. They foster academic success and social well-being by allowing all students to thrive regardless of their gender.
The Republic Act Number 10173, also known as the Data Privacy Act of 2012. This act applies to all organizations, including schools, and mandates the protection of personal data. It requires schools to implement security measures to protect students' information and to obtain informed consent before collecting and using personal data. So in this act, concrete example this is the students' grades. It is the private. Students' grade is private and we can access our personal grade but not beyond to others at Rajud for the safety and security to avoid discrimination and bullying also. Go on and let's proceed to the second act, which is the Republic Act Number 9155, also known as the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. This act established a framework for the governance of basic education in the Philippines. The act emphasized the importance of empowering schools and learning centers to make decisions that best serves the needs of their learners. It covers intended for two individuals, such teachers and students. So let's go on first the teacher's side. Teachers' protection and needs. Empowerment and accountability is covered in this act. This includes providing teachers with greater autonomy and flexibility in their teaching practices. For example, teachers need to have seminars like NSET and others regularly and took master's degree to have a wide knowledge in general field that can make their as their reference in teaching and nurturing students. Additionally, teachers encouraged to use different teaching and learning strategies for the effective and productive learning environment in schools. Next is the student protection and needs covered in this act. Also, focus on individuals' needs. The act emphasizes the importance of providing education that meets the individual's needs, catering to schools with special needs, providing alternatives learning system for out-of-school youth and adult learners, and ensuring that schools are responsive to the needs of their communities. For example, PWD students need to have separate schools that should cater their personal needs, and it's open to all genders. Such, for example, in Tagbilaran, they have a separate school for deaf persons with mental illness and other persons with mental disabilities and impaired to maintain sustainable development and quality education despite of being impaired and being disabled. Next is promoting the gender equality cover also this Act of 9155, inclusive learning environment promotes the creation of inclusive learning environments that value diversity and respect, where gender equality is a core principle and where all students feel safe, valued, and respected. For example, some schools here in the Philippines are open of having a gay students wearing school uniform like girls and allowing them to enter the school of having a long hair to promote equality and respect as what gender they belong or they consider her or his self to. But some schools are not because they are into culture and religious belief norms, thus they don't allow it. So I hope you observed my discussion and learn something about this. Thank you so much and Godspeed.